So it looks like you're about wrapped up with this file. We've gotten a lot of things done. It looks a lot different from what you had this morning. And one of the things you really want to do when you get close to the end of setting up a file is, first of all, you want to make sure you've saved it. We probably should click on the save because I don't remember if we did that when we saved.
Can't do it enough, can you?
No, we can't. And so we've saved, and we probably want to just make sure we don't have anything misspelled.
Oh, yes.
So let's do a spell check. Now, our spell checker is in the Review tab. So if you come up to your ribbon and click on Review, and you'll notice it's all the way to the left. There's spelling. It's in the proofing group, and we have spelling, and there's also a thesaurus. So if I was trying to come up with the right word, I could actually use the thesaurus, but we'll come back and look at that in a moment.
Okay.
All right, so let's go up to the ribbon and click on the spelling button on our Review tab. And notice it came down to about row 58, Ruddle Rock. Is that?
No, our facility is, or that was being shipped out to Rattle Rock, actually.
Okay. Notice in your suggestions, Rattle is there. Now, before you click on that, let's just look at some of the other options you have available. Notice it says ignore once. So if Ruddle was correct, and we just wanted to ignore this one occurrence of it, we would just click that.
Okay.
Now, if Ruddle is correct and we know it's going to occur throughout this document, we have an ignore all, and it won't pick it up again.
Okay.
If Ruddle is a term we're going to see in a lot of our files, then we could add it to our dictionary, and it won't pick it up in any of our Office applications, again, as a misspelled word. So you might do that for jargon, some kind of business terms that you have. You also have a change button and a change all. So change would let me change this occurrence. Change all would find all occurrences of Ruddle and change it to whichever option you have highlighted here. And Office gives you suggestions. So it's guessed rattle and rustle and turtle and tuttle and so forth. And you could tell it to choose one of those. So you said it's rattle, correct?
It is. That is
so
right.
We've got rattle, and we'll click on change. And it turns out that's the only misspelled word in this document. Let's click OK, and I'd like you to move back up to the top of the screen for a moment. Yeah, I thought I saw this on row 5, cell E5. That obviously should be ROCK, shouldn't it?
It is. I wonder why it didn't get picked up by the dictionary.
This is the thing about Spellcheck. Spellcheck finds words that are not in its dictionary. So ROC must be in its dictionary. Either somebody on this computer has added ROC to the dictionary, because remember we saw add to dictionary, or it was originally in the dictionary to begin with.
Okay.
But you can correct that. This is one of the reasons why we can't rely completely on Spellcheck.
That means I still need to know how to spell well, huh?
Yeah. You need to proofread too, because can you think of another reason why Spellcheck might not pick up a word? A misspelled
Maybe it is a correct spelling, but just the wrong usage of that word.
I have that problem with the word from. I invariably type form, which also is a word.
Right, right.
So it's not going to pick that up. Although we have Spellcheck, we have to remember, we have to check.
Okay.
Just proofread through. But at least it helps us catch some of the bigger ones. And you might want to fix that one.
Okay, let's do it.
It also can't tell us if we put the correct numbers in or not.
Right, that's something that needs to be checked.
Now, another thing that we can do, let's say this file, obviously you're putting in data and it's not a situation where you're trying to think of the right word. But there is a feature if you're trying to find the right word and maybe you've used the same word over and over again and you're like, there's got to be another way to say rock. Then for whatever reason you can't think of stone or pebble or whatever other words we might use. We have a thesaurus. Do you remember using thesauruses in school?
I do. They're wonderful.
Yeah, they help you find other words that have the same meaning or a similar meaning.
Okay.
So up on your review ribbon in the proofing group, notice the third button of that area is the thesaurus, and we can click on it. Now the thesaurus is looking for words that match Los Angeles because that's where we were highlighted, Los Angeles. So let's close that box. Just come back over there to the right. And now let's go over, and if you click on Rattle Rock and then put your mouse over rock and double click. Now it's highlighted. Let's click the Thesaurus again. Okay, so notice that it has gone and looked at the word rock, and it's giving us some other options. We have pillar, we have astound. Notice it's giving us different parts of grammar. So if rock is a noun, here are some suggestions. If rock is a verb, like you rock my world, then here are some suggestions. Rock, you talk about people rocking in a rocking chair, and then sway and so forth. So we have different suggestions here, and we could go through and try to find other information. Now, I'm wondering if you were to go and click on the drop down next to pillar, it gives you the option to insert that into the area. So let's just do it for the fun of it. And you'll see it took out, because it's in Excel, it took out the whole cell's contents.
Okay, and replaced it.
And replaced it. If you were in Word, it would only replace the highlighted word.
Okay.
And of course, we could get that back to what we want it to be. How?
Undo. It's my favorite.
Our friend undo. So that's the Thesaurus. The only other thing really to tell you about the spell checker is, you remember we talked about that dictionary? Let's go take a quick look at the dictionary. And the best place to get that is Backstage View.
Okay.
So we're going backstage again.
All right, let's do it. File.
Don't trip over anything. So, and come down to options. Which one of the categories on the left do you think we would find the spell checker in?
I would think proofing.
Right, because we think of spell checking as proofreading, right? So let's click on that. And notice that's where the autocorrect was. We saw that earlier. And we see some of the spell check settings. So if words are in uppercase, it won't pick them up. If words contain numbers, it won't pick them up. That's good for part numbers or different jargon that you have at work. It does find repeated words. So if you accidentally have he, and you don't mean he, then it'll pick that up, and it ignores the internet and so forth. You also have the ability to deal with other languages. Notice there's the ability to accent uppercase in French, and you can tell it only to look at the main dictionary. That's not checked because you have custom dictionaries. When you add to the dictionary, it becomes a custom dictionary.
Oh, okay.
So that's where those are going. If you click on custom dictionaries, you will see there's the custom dictionary, and notice over on the right you have an option to add a dictionary. You can create your own, so you can choose which dictionary you're using when you spell check. Or you can look at the word list in the custom dictionary. Why don't we edit the word list? Let's look. And so there's a lot of things that have been added in this particular one, and notice you have the option to delete or delete all. All right. One other thing to notice is you can choose to work in other languages if necessary. Your dictionary language says it's English. That's the last item in the proofing section. And if you wanted to switch the language you were working with, you could click on the drop down and say you're working with a French company or a company out of Mexico, and so you want to use Spanish or something.
Wow, there's a lot of them in there.
There really are. And you could choose a different language, and then it would use that language in that dictionary.
Okay, that's good to know.
All right, so let's click OK, and I think we've got our file ready to roll.
That's
So-
great. I'm going to hit save, and now I'm ready to send this out.
That's fantastic.